what's your experience? What is your story?
This is my story. So, about 3 years ago, um, I was in a Japanese exchange program over the summer, and over the summer, we had a small amount of students in the class that we had, and it was just about like maybe 6 weeks of time. And in that class, I'm not going to use their real names. I'm going to say that their names are, let's see, John, Bill, and Caitlin. Now, John, Bill, and Caitlin, they were in the Japanese exchange program that I had, but they were actual Japanese students. They were just intertwined with the students that came from America. And in the class at the time, during the beginning of the class, they were all there. And one night they started to mess with an Ouija board, and it was a homemade Ouija board. So they were all in John's apartment, and they spent a little bit of time waiting, playing around, trying to find a spirit until they finally actually got into contact with one. Now, the first thing that they asked the spirit was, "What is your name?" The spirit told them their name, and then after that they asked, "Are you a good spirit or a bad spirit?" They didn't answer. They asked it again, "Are you a good spirit or a bad spirit?" And instead of answering, there's a thing that happens with the Japanese Ouija boards where if it makes a certain motion repeatedly, that means that a demon is trying to get out of their Ouija board. And the second time that they asked the spirit if it was a good spirit or a bad spirit, it started making that particular motion. And as soon as that started happening, all three of them, they thought, man, we need to quit this. So they put away the Ouija board, and they were a little bit freaked out, but they went to sleep. The next morning, John was missing. So the other two, no, when they woke up, his shoes were there, the door was still locked, and they were just wondering, where did he go if the door is still locked and his shoes are still here? So at the time, they had called in private investigators, they had called in the cops. They searched everywhere. They went on a 2-week search for John, but John didn't show up. So after that, after exhausting all their other options, they were wondering maybe we could ask the spirit what happened to John, because that was the same night that they talked to the spirit. So the two of them went back to John's apartment, because that was the last place that they went, and contacted the spirit again. And then they started calling for the spirit, and he said, "Do you have John? Or do you know where John is?" And the spirit replied, "Yes." And then they said, "Where is he?" And then the spirit replied, "I have him." And so by that time, both of them, they were just freaked out. So they asked, "Can we have John back?" And then the spirit said, "No, John is mine." And after that, they repeatedly kept asking, "Give us John back, give us John back," until the spirit finally said, "Fine, you can have him back." The moment that the spirit replied with that, there was a loud thud. And in John's apartment, there's still an attic, because the closets, the style of the closets that they have there, it's a sliding door closet, and there's access to the attic from the sliding door closet. So upon hearing the loud thud, they go and check in the attic, and then they find John's body, but there were no bruises, there were no contusions. There was no sign of any blood loss. It was just, his body just ceased to stop living, and that's how they found John. Yeah.